the Sports Betting Network.
The numbers told the story, they always do.
It's one of those idiots who believe in analytics.
This is a numbers game with Gil Alexander on VSiN.
Good Friday morning to you. It is a numbers game at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, VSiN.com, Game Plus, iHeartRadio, YouTube TV, and of course, SiriusXM Channel 158. It is a numbers game. I'm Gil Alexander, committing at least 5 traffic violations to come here on time every morning, along with Kelly Bidlin, my little buddy. How you doing?
It's kind of ironic that you say that because I felt that way this morning as well.
I actually counted them this morning.
Oh boy!
You start off with the old no turn on red turn to get things started. Then a few California rolls, if you know what I mean, through the stop signs. Followed by rampant.
Heard that expression before.
Followed by rampant speeding. Boys and girls, I'm not proud of any of it. You shouldn't do it.
As my mother used to like to call it, the light was orange, Gil.
My dad.
Was orange.
My dad used to say through a stop sign. I said, "What are you doing?" It was a stop sign. I was a kid. He'd be like, "It's a suggestion." That's what he actually told me. I'm actually, by the way, I don't know if it took 8.5 years to remember this. 8.5 years on this network for this memory to come up. But I am inspired by, do you know who? Brent Musburger. Co-founder of VSiN, Brent Musburger, the legendary Brent Musburger, who when I was a kid, it must have been a Sports Illustrated article or something. He's going to kill me for telling this story on air. But when he would go to the NFL today, I think he would run the tolls. I think he would run the toll booths to get to work on time. Or he just sped. Maybe I just made up the toll booth part, but I don't think I am. Anyway, that somehow was emblazoned in my brain. I do it 5 times a week.
There you go.
Doesn't make it right.
Yeah,
but here we are. Here we are to entertain the people.
I don't know how many times though that was a thing down at Florida too. Where you get the turnpike right, and you're always like, I always assume my little speed pass thing is set up, and then and then you realize a year later when you get tickets in the mail, like, oh, that wasn't working this whole time. They
got me once. Remember on the way to the South Point, I got caught for speeding one time. I was going 81 in a 55 again. Don't do this at home. It's not right. And I had my Larry David moment where he was giving me the ticket, and finally I was like, hey, while I have you, what are you going to do about all this stuff flying out of the tops of trucks?
I forgot you brought this up.
And he was like, you're more of a menace than any of those people. I'm like, okay, officer, just give it to you.
My worst one ever, 2 worst ones, 2 speeding tickets in the same day while I was driving out to Las Vegas to move here. In Texas, in the same part of West Texas.
Oh, wow.
2 speeding tickets about 3 hours apart. That second one was an awkward conversation.
He was aware of the first.
Well, he did the whole go back to the car to punch in my information. He comes back, he's like, did you get a ticket already today? I'm like, yeah.
Well, yes, I did.
And then one, I got pulled over out here for texting because I'm at the stoplight, and then I pull out my phone to text. I see a cop is behind me, but like 3 cars back and 1 lane over. I'm like, this guy can't see. He pulls me over immediately. He's like, yeah, man, I could see the reflection in the windshield. It's not that hard. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense.
That's also
that checks out.
Of all the things you can do, that ranks high as like never do that.
Oh, I agree. But I was at full stop at a red light. It's not like I was driving.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it was full stop at a red light.
All right. You're not allowed to do it at a red light?
No.
Interesting. All right. On the show today, Drew Dinsick will join us momentarily from Churchill Downs. We don't know where he's going to be, if he's going to be on the track, if he's going to be riding a horse. We don't know.
What kind of hat he's going to be wearing.
He's so committed, though. So we're going to talk to him, and maybe we'll even ask him awkward NBA questions while he's in his Kentucky Derby getup. We'll do that as well. Then a little segment we like to call Estamos Seguros, Are We Sure? Which we haven't done in a while because Kelly was away, so looking forward to that. Jason Weingarten from Under a Cloud of Smoke after his 100 men versus a gorilla performance the other day. My favorite highlight from that exchange was me saying, Jason, you keep using weapons. You can't use weapons. That goes back to Jason, and then he proceeds to use more weapons. That's my favorite part from that. Chris Felica then, of course, hour number 2, Felica and Fezzik Fridays. Chris Felica, with all of his Derby plays, his Kentucky Oaks plays, he has given us a scroll of plays.
And Gil Alexander will explain every single bet that Chris has.
I will absolutely not do that. That will not happen.
Shout out to Danny in the back, AP Danny, where I'm like, hey, look through those graphics I made up for Chris and see if you think the average person can understand most of this.
Well, at least we'll have a visual, because remember when Samich was here, he was like 3, 7, 8, 4, 5, 6, 10, 12.
Right, yeah. He gave out the true value of pi.
Yeah. 3.14. What happens after that?
that stopped killing
Fezzik Fridays. Fezzik Fridays. Steve has tons to talk about here, including that conversation we had with Crack. I had with Crack yesterday about the kid who won $800,000. Now the casinos are threatening not to pay him. Captain Jack also sent me a DM. Apparently I did a bad job because I did not know this kid went to gaming already and preemptively talked about this stuff. He's aware, hey, let me know if this is not, so we got to get into that with Fezzik. He's got things to say about 100 men versus a gorilla. He's got things to say about horse racing. Can't wait for that a little later on. We start with a few things. One, Major League Baseball. Pardon me, Kelly. The first day of May yesterday, obviously. We have our May bets. Padres were idle day one. But in Major League Baseball yesterday, every dog won except for one. Did you see this?
No, did not see this.
Only the Detroit Tigers, and they needed a rally in the 8th and 9th to win. Otherwise, it would have been a clean sweep of dogs yesterday. And so, by the way, the White Sox and the Rockies both win. White Sox and Rockies off to a 1-0 start in May. May juggernauts.
What's my exacta price on them again?
I don't know. So that was interesting in baseball yesterday. We'll see if Jason has any plays coming up. And then, of course, in the NHL, we had a few closeouts, including everybody's pumped around here because the Vegas Golden Knights got it done. They take down the Minnesota Wild 4-2. They do it with a 3-2 win yesterday. What a turn of events in the last game and 1 minute and change. Remember, the Wild looked to have scored that go-ahead goal with just over a minute left in Game 5. That got reversed on a coach's challenge, offsides by the tip of a skate. Golden Knights going to win that game in overtime, and then they close out the Wild last night. So they get it done. Toronto staves off the sphincter tightening possibility of a Game 7 after they were up 3-0. They take down Ottawa in the Battle of Ontario. They win that series 4-2 with a 4-2 win yesterday. So Toronto was off to the second round. Good for the folks up there who are listening on Game Plus. And then Edmonton. Edmonton, how many goals were scored in the first period of that game last night? I think it was 5. Edmonton takes down the Kings 6-4. They win that series in 6. So a lot of advancements yesterday. The one, of course, that was not, though, talk about a Plinko game, Colorado and Dallas. They will go to a Game 7 as the Avs score 4 times in the third period, 2 on empty netters. They beat the Stars 7-4. They do force a Game 7, which is going to be tomorrow. Tonight, Winnipeg at St. Louis. Winnipeg looking to close out the Blues. By the way, Colorado minus 135 on the road for game number 7. And then there's the National Basketball Association, Kelly. And by the way, updating the VSiN Killer Sports NBA Playoff Challenge. You can follow this at VSiN.com/challenge. I believe that's the case. Let me make sure that I'm saying that correctly, because I don't want to make up anything. VSiN.com/challenge. If you go in there, you can follow everybody's plays. Yes, I'm correct. Then you just hit on standings. And you will see that Doug Kazarian still holds the lead here as we come to the very end of the first round. 14-5. Stevie Fezzik, 13-7. And then Caleb Baidalan, 12-7.
Yeah, I took an L, though, yesterday. Took an L. Final play tonight for the first round.
We were oppo.
Find out later what it is.
Oh, you told them yesterday what it was, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Find out later, even though I told you yesterday.
Not everybody was listening yesterday, Gil. It was a great tease.
Yeah, we were oppo on the total yesterday. I got that right. I was on the over in the Pistons game, but I was also on the Pistons, too.
You know what makes me mad is I ended up betting small, both the side and the total, and I chose the total for the contest because I did take a little bit of the Knicks last night, and yeah.
Can we talk about this game? So the other game, by the way, the Clippers force a Game 7 against the Nuggets with a win, 111-105. So what you have in hockey and basketball is one series is going to 7, a second might go to 7. That's where both sports stand. But as far as the Knicks and the Pistons.
Let's go Clips. Let's go Clips.
Yeah, but the NBA hardos need that Clippers thing to come through.
Yes, we do.
Knicks Pistons last night. This was not as dramatic of a collapse as the Bucks against the Pacers. Sorry, Wyatt, apologize. But this was the Pistons led by 7 with 2:35 left in this game yesterday. After the Knicks had led by 15, they squandered that by halftime. Then they led by 13 again in the second half, 12 in the fourth quarter. They squandered that. Pistons led by 7 with 2:35 left. You're like, wow. What an unbelievable comeback twice. The Knicks have lost this game twice. Pistons have won it twice. But then a Brunson floater in 112-108. Duran misses an alley-oop, then another layup by Brunson, 112-110. Cunningham misses a layup. Towns steals the ball. He's fouled. He makes 1 of 2, 112-111. Brunson misses, but after an offensive board, a foul on Towns. Brunson misses after a board, foul on Towns. Duran makes 1 of 2, 113-111. Then Brunson misses, but Bridges tips it back in, 113 apiece with 36 seconds to go. Cunningham misses a running layup. And then with the shot clock turned off, Brunson, dagger 3 as he shakes Thompson. Less than 5 seconds left. Pistons throw it away, ball game. And Brunson ends up with 40, Bridges 25, Anunoby 22, and the Knicks 116-113 win. They clinch that series. They are headed to take on the Celtics in the conference semifinals. I just want to say that yesterday was, you know how you always talk about experience matters in the postseason? Mm-hmm. That was just a microcosm of it, that last stretch of that game yesterday.
Yeah, it is, and I think it's also, I think this ending is what the Pistons season, it should have been and where it should have ended. This team was awesome and got better this whole year, but at some point, this was kind of what we were talking about yesterday. I think the Knicks have let a lot of people down, I think, a lot with the overall talent that is on that roster, but you're watching the Pistons, it's a big-time game, and it's, at the end of the day, you're still rolling out Tobias Harris, Tim Hardaway Jr., Malik Beasley, who, look, they're all good players and have been solid role players on good teams in the NBA during their career, but the talent level is just, it's a mismatch. And
Boston Celtics installed as a minus 800 series favorite.
Wait, real quick, Gil, because I loved this part of the game yesterday. I'm a Sar Thompson. I'm still sliding off that crossover, man.
That's the shake that Brunson did on Asar Thompson. Demonstrated in real time by Kelly Bidlin. Coming back, Drew Dinsick from the track at Churchill Downs next.
Time. There's nothing more valuable. It's what drives everyone to make the most of every moment. We celebrate living large in the now. In a city where time disappears, we create experiences that electrify the soul and memories that will last forever. We go big. We go all night. And here, everyone is invited. So get loose and get loud.
This is Circa. You'll have the time of your life.
So, Paulie, have you had a chance to read the VSiN Daily yet?
Yeah, came in at 3 a.m. What's Bill doing up that late?
Well, rumor has it, it starts off with a 12-hour meditation session.
Then he just pours himself over film and live TV, really focusing and taking it all in. Bill's in with the biggest insiders, talking trade secrets, strategies, the whole nine, absorbing the info.
And then and only then can the writing process begin.
In Las Vegas, Bill's late night becomes your early morning. Wake up to the very latest betting insights in your inbox with the VSiN Daily. Sign up for free at vsin.com/newsletter.
On the next episode of Prop Points, we'll start off the show reacting to Thursday's NBA playoff results. Then I'll give out my favorite player props for Rockets-Warriors Game 6. And, of course, Cavaliers-Pacers, which will tip off on Sunday. Bill Finley from Down the Stretch on SiriusXM will join the show to give out his favorite ponies for the Kentucky Derby. And finally, Jeff Erickson will give out his favorite props and plays for a busy Friday in Major League Baseball. I'm Nick Whalen. Tune in to Friday's episode of Prop Points, 2 p.m. Eastern, only on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
postgame on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Want to bet smarter? Start with Smarter Insights. Right now, you can check out the Kentucky Derby Betting Guide, Greg Peterson's MLB Best Bets, and Dave Tooley's Friday Churchill Picks. That's at Churchill Downs. And later today, you can check out Zachary Cohen's NBA Best Bets and Player Props, Jonathan Davis's NHL Picks, and Steve McKinnon's MLB Analytics Report. Right now, you can sign up for our annual subscription and get 14 months for only $199 with promo code PRO. That's promo code PRO, P-R-O. Just head to VSiN.com/subscribe to sign up today. We get tweets at Beating the Book. Always appreciate the feedback. This is from Zach Tuchman. Or is it Tuchman? I don't know. It's tribal? I don't know. I hope I'm pronouncing that okay, Zach. After Gil shamed DraftKings into posting May wins, they took it a step further. They now repost every morning. Padres back up to 25-1 after being idle yesterday. Something to look at going forward. Yeah, we'll see how long they keep this up. We'll see.
Yeah.
Thank you for acknowledging the shaming of DraftKings.
There is no reason why they can't.
No reason.
Yeah,
no reason at all.
Literally until the final day.
Corey Henderson, 775. Gil and Kelly flying down from Reno in the morning for Sammy Hagar in the evening. Where are we watching the race tomorrow? I don't know, Corey. If you came up with a point, maybe we'll meet you there. Jim Devitt got a ticket on one side of the Rickenbacker Causeway Bridge in Key Biscayne and another coming down the other side within a minute of each other. Gil, I know you know the bridge. Kelly, you probably do also.
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
I do.
Oh, yeah.
That is a feat.
Mm-hmm.
That is a feat of traffic violation right there.
Yeah,
nice job,
that
Jim.
is more impressive than my Texas one. Yep.
That's got to be within minutes. Jason H11, no offense to Fezzik or Falika regarding their thoughts and opinions on sports betting, but all I care about is what they have to say about 100 men versus gorilla. Oh, Fezzik has thoughts. Fezzik,
he's got a new scenario.
He not only has thoughts, it's guest on guest crime coming up.
Mm-hmm. That's true too.
Yeah, Mark Descartes. As a teenager, I read an article in Sports Illustrated, I think, where Brent was asked how he unwound after doing the NFL Today. He replied, "I like to have a cold beer and drive fast." He immediately became my hero. It's the same article I read. Inspired to this day.
Really?
Yeah.
That's great.
Mike Goosh has a question for Fezzik later. We'll get to that, Mike, when Fezzik is here. Chuckism 1 found Nuggets 45-1 to win the West. Should I hedge Saturday night?
I mean, I would, but what do we always say, Gil? There's a reason you made the bet in the first place,
That's
right?
what I'm saying. Yeah, why'd you make it in the first place?
Has there anything changed significantly in this series to make you doubt your position anymore? I think if you made the bet, I would say no.
Scott, New York Mess 16. It's only the first segment. We have had Gil's illegal driving, Samich's version of P.I.
Pie.
Of pie, pardon me.
Yes.
And Kelly doing a shimmy. What a way to start a Friday. Kelly was so excited to do that shimmy that he didn't even answer my question.
What was your question?
Do you think the Celtics at minus 800 in a best-of-7 series against the Knicks, what, plus 550 coming back, is correct?
I think it's getting a little steep. I'll say that. Look, I think the problem is both these teams head in with some injury questions, right? I don't think that it's anything to be too concerned about. We're going to get a fair amount of time off. Obviously, the Celtics have had some time off. I expect them to look like a different team. I think it is important to keep in mind that the Magic have given the Celtics team, some problems throughout the past couple years, and I think that showed up in the first round a little bit. I think the Celtics are too much for the Knicks, but man, the Knicks still have the talent on that roster to at least take a game or two.
We're still working on Drew, by the way.
Yeah, he's gonna hop on next segment.
Hoops by Hoots.
I think he's getting his hat on.
Oh, this is a great one by Hoots. It's going to take a while.
I guess to compare, I would much rather lay the number with the Cavs than I would with the Knicks or with the Celtics.
The Cavs, who can be found still at DraftKings specifically at a low minus 425, and it was minus 400 yesterday.
Yeah, and this is kind of tough because I think the Pacers are a better team than the Knicks right now. I do think that's true, but I just think we're not giving the Cavs their due respect for what they've done. I laid a game and a half with the Cavs yesterday, actually.
Hoops by Hoots riffing on my point the other day about the Pistons probably should have won this series 4-1 against the Knicks. He goes, Pistons should now be up 5-1 in this series. Absolutely unbelievable. You know what the Pistons should do? They should just show up at the TD Garden. They should just show up there in Boston and see what happens.
See what happens.
See who tells them to turn away.
Dude, I'm telling you, I know I told you during the break, but I am so obsessed with 90s, 2000s, NBA, and one mixtape basketball that Brunson little shimmy last night. I was off my couch screaming. It's just like Iverson all over again. Inject that into my veins every night in the NBA.
After Asar Thompson had forced the turnover on Brunson the possession or two before that, and then he just went skating.
And it's about the matchups, right? It was Halliburton against Giannis the night before. You're talking about elite defenders and bang, bang, crossover, little shoulder, shimmy, shaking, boom.
And finally,
lights out.
Primetime, Cowboys_Cubs1. Yo, hey man, not watching, but just listening to Country Clubbin' K. Michael Bidlin's crossover shake hurt my ankles.
That's right.
Let Weiland, he said Weilers, let Weilers know he needs to bring the Kelly Bidlin energy next time he's in the producer chair. I will defend Wyatt Tomczyk. He was fantastic in the producer chair in your state.
Good.
He was.
Wyatt works very, very hard, even though he might be working at home today.
Oh, is he at home?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he's fantastic. He really is. I couldn't do the podcast without him, by the way.
Oh, no, you could not. Yeah.
Shall we do it? Are we sure?
Are we sure?
Estamos seguros. How do we not have a big intro for this?
Rob's working on it very hard back there, currently, right now.
Okay.
That's what I'd say. All right. Are we sure?
Yeah.
The Warriors are the second best team in the Western Conference.
Oh, no, I'm not sure. And I'm a Warriors guy. I do agree with Zach Cohen. I think the Minnesota Timberwolves might be the second best team in the Western Conference. I don't think it's the Clippers like everybody else is saying, but I think it might be the T-Wolves. So, no, we're not sure about the Warriors.
I think those waters are getting murky of who's that second best team. And I think all three of those teams.
On any given night, it could be the Warriors also, by the way.
Yeah. I
trust them more than anybody in crunch time in any game, but I don't know that they're clear head and shoulders the second best team.
Like you just said that, though, I think you could say that same thing about the Denver Nuggets, too, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
You're going to give me Nikola Jokic on any given night. I got the chance to have the second best team or the best team. The Western Conference.
If I asked you who the third best team is in the East, it's like, who cares and who knows?
Yeah, it's the Pacers, but who cares?
Who cares?
It ain't going to matter.
That's right.
I don't think it's mattered for 6 months, and it's not going to matter. Okay, I lost my spot. Are we sure? No, we already talked about this. Are we sure the Knicks have no shot versus Celtics?
I'm fairly sure. About that. The Knicks are, the Knicks, whenever Jalen Brunson's on the other side of the court, there's always a little bit of doubt, but the Celtics have too much. So I'm fairly sure, yeah.
It's ridiculous this is where the Knicks drive you nuts, because the pieces they've added, it is ridiculous how often they still need to rely on Jalen Brunson magic.
Yes.
Okay,
Including last night. Yep.
Are we sure Giannis will be back with the Bucks next season?
I'm not sure. Someone tweeted, obviously, about this. More than one person tweeted about this week. I'm not sure because I don't know how the Bucks get out of their jail. And that might be the only way.
So the big thing is, and this goes back even to like Drew Holiday trades, and then it's Damian. They have no draft picks, they're in a very tough spot.
It's purgatory.
You're in purgatory,
yeah,
because Giannis ain't going to be happy, and I don't think any of us, like Dame, none of us are going to get angry at the idea of him leaving Milwaukee.
And the worst thing you can be in the NBA, the worst thing is the mediocrity purgatory. Ask the 1980s Washington Bullets, right? If you go 40-42 every year, you're not bad enough to suck and get a good pick. You're not good enough to win a championship. You just end up on this never-ending cycle. And with Giannis, they will never suck, right?
Right.
So that's the problem.
It's just sad, man. Because what was it? It was the Eastern Conference Finals the year the Warriors won it, right? Where it was Celtics Bucks in that Eastern Conference Finals the year after the Bucks win the championship, and you're like, this is going to be the Eastern Conference Finals for the next 8 years. And, man, this Bucks franchise, just the past couple years, it's tough to watch. Okay, are we sure? I like this one. I like this one, Gil. Are we sure Travis Hunter should have shorter odds to win Defensive Rookie of the Year than Offensive Rookie of the Year? Because that's the case right
No.
now.
But this is a little weird because with Defensive Player of the Year...
Rookie, but yeah.
Defensive Rookie of the Year, you usually don't win that as a cornerback. You just don't. But it could be anybody. So I don't know. It's a nebulous category. Remember last year it was like, well, who do you give this to kind of thing? Do you do it to a guy who had a good stretch early or a good stretch late? I don't know. The problem is if there's a path for a rookie quarterback, he should absolutely be longer just on principle on offense. But I don't. So if you believe that, then there's no way he should be shorter offensively. The question is, do you believe that?
No,
and I don't know.
I don't really. I mean, Cam Ward is shorter than him.
Yeah.
I think it's a very interesting year for offensive rookie of the year because I don't know that I trust any of those quarterbacks to be a serious threat.
That's a good "are we sure" question because there is no clear answer to it.
And the other thing, haven't we got an indication from the Jags that he's going to be starting in that wide receiver room first? So, I mean, right away, it seems like the odds are a little out of whack. Where I can get a longer number on him on offense.
That's right, Kelly. He'll be starting in the room.
In the room, that's right. It's going to be fun. Okay, we're going to talk more about these last weeks because I saw DraftKings post some of these markets. Are we sure Anthony Richardson should be minus 280 to be the Colts' Week 1 starter? Reminder, they have Daniel Jones on the roster now as well.
He should be the favorite. He should not be minus 280.
Hey, I love Anthony Richardson.
Yeah.
280 feels heavy.
This feels like a training camp where if it doesn't go well, he would not be the starter.
Yes, I agree.
Let's do whatever you have left on the other side. Drew Dinsick from Churchill Downs. The Derby is tomorrow. The Run for the Roses, the fastest 2 minutes in sports. What other things do they call themselves? It's coming back. Numbers Game. VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
And they're off.
If you're serious about betting this season, it's time to go pro. Right now, you can score 14 months of VSiN Pro for just $199. That's 2 extra months on us. We're talking daily best bets, exclusive splits from DraftKings and Circa, full access to the VSiN Watch app, and all of our betting guides, including the Kentucky Derby and the big one, the NFL Betting Guide. But don't wait, this offer's gone May 31st. Head over to VSiN.com/subscribe and use the code PRO, P-R-O, to lock it in and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
This is VSiN, the sports betting network. A numbers game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Check out the Sharp Plays Unmatched Transparency with records updated daily, AI betting analysis, real-time global betting information, and alerts directly from the pros. That's sharpplays.com. Check them out. There's one tweet. I just want to read the one tweet before we get to Drew here because this is exactly related to your last Are We Sure question, Kelly. Money Capraletti says, what timing on the Richardson question? I threw pizza money on Riley Leonard, Rookie of the Year. AR stinks in camp. Jones throws the ball to the D. All camp. Steichen saves his job with the rookie. 250-1. Riley Leonard, Rookie of the Year.
I don't hate it. I mean, when you're making bets like that, you want to draw out what's the path going to be, right? That's the path, right? AR stinks, gets beat out in camp, and then you've got Daniel Jones starting the year and sucks within like 4 games, and then they try out the rook.
Like I said, Richardson should be the favorite to have the opening stat, but it should not be minus 285. All right. You want to lead into Drew with one more Are We Sure question?
Yeah, this is how I was going to end it anyways. Are we sure both of us will lose money betting horses this weekend?
100%. You and I will absolutely lose money betting horses this weekend. Drew Dinsick joins us, ladies and gentlemen, from Churchill Downs, right in front of one of the Twin Spires, as a matter of fact, courtesy of the Progressive Guest Line. You can follow him on Twitter at whale_capper. Not only does he do the Deep Dive podcast with Andy Molitor, and they do daily deep dives now as well, but he also does NBC Sports, NBC Sports Bet the Edge podcast, which he does with Jay Croucher, and he will be doing all the digital stuff, or at least he will be found digital-wide on NBC's platforms at the Kentucky Derby. It's our buddy Drew Dinsick. Look at this guy. How you doing, Drew?
Favorite weekend of the year. Not being no hyperbole. This is as good as it gets. Beautiful weather here in Louisville. Beautiful scene, and really, really incredible day of racing today and tomorrow. So this is where the magic happens.
How much did the hat cost you, Drew? How much did that run you?
$125 maybe.
25.
125.
125. I was going to say
that's light. That's light for a nice cowboy.
That
hat.
is light.
I've learned that living in Vegas.
That's right.
It's got the felt. You know, it's got a turkey feather.
Ooh.
Down. On there. So,
let me start. Well, I have a couple questions to start, and then you can roll wherever you want. But the two questions I want to start with are: one, are you as keen on American Paradise as you were a few days ago? And then the other question, which is sort of in tandem with that, is, you know, a few years ago, I don't know if folks remember this, Rich Strike won the Kentucky Derby in 2022. It was an alternate, and I think it was Ethereal Road got scratched. And so this horse, who's, by the way, the jockey and the owner were like, we don't even know if we're traveling to Churchill Downs. They decided in case it happens, we'll go. They do. He ends up winning. The horse does as an 80-1 shot out of the 21 post position. So all the content, right, all the podcasts, all the shows that everybody did on the Derby that entire week was completely nullified because nobody even had that horse to bet on in the first place. We have a similar situation here in which Rodriguez has been scratched, and now we have, is it Baeza? Baeza is coming out of the 21 post position. Is Baeza live on top of your feelings about American Paradise?
Promise.
Yeah, so American Promise is my
American
guy. But,
Treasure, Promise, I don't know.
These
Promise,
are all
sorry.
reasonable questions. The Baeza and being the alternate drawn in is that was a hard lesson learned for me in the content space. That was the first Derby I covered, and we spent 120 hours of prep and reporting and boots on the ground, and didn't mention Rich Strike once. So seeing him win, I was literally like, wow, I guess I'm never doing that again. Guess I'm not getting invited back next year. Didn't even mention this horse. But Baeza was very, very broadly covered, not just because of the potential for him to draw in, but because he's a great horse. He is outstanding pedigree and hasn't run his best race. Took a huge step forward last time out, almost took down Journalism, who's your 3-1 favorite. And so if you are as keen on the favorite as many are, that this is a reasonably fair price for him in the 3-1 range, then you have to like Baeza, if not at the top of your card, certainly in your super. So we covered him, and I think he's got outstanding form. We were up at the Crack of Dawn this morning watching kind of like the fine tuning. You can come out anytime between 6 and 8 o'clock And all of the trainers on Friday who are running on Saturday are kind of just putting, finishing touches on getting their horses ready. And Baeza was out doing some early work, and he looked spectacular. Journalism looked very ready to run. He was absolutely firing on all cylinders with his workout. And also was impressed by Burnham Square this morning, who's in like the 16-1 range. So those were the horses that I thought stood out pretty clearly as we saw work this morning. And American Promise is the complicated and polarizing horse here. Like, all of the reasons that I bet him in the fixed odds pool and liked him all still stand. He is the spitting image of his father, Justified. Like, you look at him and it is literally like you're going in the time machine to 2018 and it's the same dang horse. It's crazy. Like, it's like they cloned him. And D. Wayne Lucas is an absolute, Hall of Famer, earned every bit of his reputation. Recently won the Preakness with Seize the Gray last year, so it's not even like he's lost his fastball, even though he's 89. And so I do think that he still has a huge run in him, but I am a little bit worried because some of the videos that were circulated of him working out on Wednesday did not look great. He did not look sharp. There's been a lot of rumor mill that there may be a potential scratch, but I have enough invested in American Promise that I was outside of his barn at 6:00 this morning trying to overhear the vet confirmation that he was good to go.
I love it.
I heard it with my own two ears. He is good to go. All systems go for American Promise. Whether he is 100% and is going to have his best race, I'm not feeling super confident in that, just based on the fact that there's been any concern at all. Like, you want to be 110%, going into this, not, any types of doubt. So, we shall see. But he is the most physically impressive horse in this field. He is a late foal. He's just come into his 3-year-old body. He's like literally the quotes and the comments from the trainers are like, he looks like he's finally lost the baby fat. And his last run, he set track records in Colonial Downs in Virginia to the tune of and again, I'll quote the great D. Wayne Lucas. He went 1:13 in his first mile in Virginia Stakes, Gil. It's hard for a horse to run downhill in 1:13 in a mile. And he was able to do it on a flat track that day and win his, punch his ticket to the Derby. So that is still clearly, the win bet for me in this race is American Promise. I think he's a special horse. Again, polarizing because you talk to one person and they're like, they look at his resume and they're like, why does anyone like this horse? Like, he's never won against graded stakes winners. He's never really run a good race except for the Virginia Derby. And then you go to the other end of the spectrum and you're at the Lucas Barn and they're literally like, not only is he going to win the Derby, he's going to win the Triple Crown. Like, he was supposed to run in the Lexington Stakes. They scratched him, saved him for the Kentucky Derby. And it wasn't because they wanted him fresh for the Derby. They wanted him fresh for the Preakness. And so it's like the confidence that is coming out of that group is like, it's infectious. On top of the fact that just that he passes the eye test every single which way. So it's going to be fascinating to see if he ultimately can put together a race. He's going to have to run the race of his life to win because this is as crowded and as good of a field as I can ever remember for the Kentucky Derby. The margin between the first horse and the 12th horse is effectively nil. It's going to take a good break. It's going to take a good path. With the draw journalism got, he's clearly the horse to beat. But in the plus 240 range, it's a bet against. I don't think any horse realistically has better than about a 10% chance to win this race.
All right, and as you said earlier in the week, journalism, even in victory, was against small fields. That was your one of your points, salient points about that. So American Promise, who I already have, based on your tip there, I have him in the account, but now I'm almost thinking there's a Triple Crown bet in here as well. You're getting me excited. Before you leave, Kentucky Oaks, any play in the Kentucky Oaks from you, sir?
The favorite in the Kentucky Oaks is Good Cheer. She is trained by Brad Cox. Brad Cox has won this race twice with Monomoy Girl in 2018 and She Dares the Devil in 2020. So this would be his third win. She is wildly short. 7-5 right now in the betting win pool, which is absolutely insane. I understand why she's the favorite, but that is way, way short. She is generally, raced weak fields. She's been out 6 times. She's won 6 times. So she's undefeated, which is why there is a massive amount of support for her in the win pool. Like people just like, you know, you win a bet, you get confirmation bias that that's the best horse. You go back, you bet them again, they win again. And so she's got snowball rolling downhill momentum in terms of financial support. But the horse for me is the Baffert horse. He's, of course, returning to Churchill Downs after his lengthy suspension. And he has, to me at least, the value for the Kentucky Oaks in the 9-horse Tenma. She's got early tactical speed. We haven't seen her run her best race where I think we may have for Good Cheer. And Tenma breaking out of the 9 is kind of the perfect, can control the pace and maybe even win wire to wire here because she does have closing kicks. So Baffert for me in the Oaks. And, you know, it's going to be interesting and controversial to see what his reception is if he's down there in the winner's circle on the first big race of the weekend.
That's right. By the way, for those who missed it, because the audio, a lot of ambient noise, Tenma, Tenma, out of the 9 position of the Kentucky Oaks. That is who Drew is backing Bob Baffert's horse. Drew, thank you so much for the time. I know you're a very busy man today. We appreciate it.
Best of luck, guys. Enjoy the races.
You too. Drew Dinsick, looking good from Churchill Downs. Jason Weingarten on the other side. It's a numbers game at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
In the heart of downtown Las Vegas, a sports oasis awaits. Stadium Swim, the ultimate outdoor amphitheater, built for the ultimate sports fan. With a colossal screen that brings the game closer than ever. Reserve a daybed, private cabana, or lounge in the center of it all. 6 pools to dive into as the game heats up. And the best part, there's never an off-season. Open 365 days a year. Stadium Swim, it's always spectator season.
Your favorite VSiN shows and personalities are now available to download as podcasts. Catch every hour of our live broadcast with VSiN Best Bets, or find your go-to show and download it directly. Get instant reactions to last night's games, sharp analysis on today's biggest matchups, and everything in between. Whether you're commuting, working out, or just catching up, VSiN lets you take the action with you wherever and whenever you want. Search VSiN on your favorite podcast platform and get in on the action with VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
numbers game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Whether you're placing your first bet or you've been playing the ponies for years, VSiN's Kentucky Derby betting guide has everything you need to get ahead on Derby Day. Inside the guide, you'll find a clear breakdown of how to bet on horse racing, great for beginners, detailed previews of both the Kentucky Derby and Kentucky Oaks, and best bets from top racing experts to help serious bettors cash in. The guide is yours with a VSiN Pro subscription. Start today for just $9.99. Get your first 30 days of VSiN Pro, including the Derby guide, daily best bets, exclusive betting splits, and more. Sign up now at VSiN.com/subscribe. That's VSIN.com/subscribe. What is this Matt Brown tweet about you and him?
Oh, he had Scheffler first round leader yesterday.
Scheffler, who went 10 under.
And as usual, I was a very supportive friend when he texted me the ticket.
No, you were not. What is it? He showed you a ticket that he had a 12-1 on Scotty first round leader.
Yeah.
You said no, and Matt says, he goes, I get it, it's not 70-1.
But the bigger one was that he had Rico Hoey, who was right behind him at 70-1, so he had both.
He goes, but a hit is a hit, and you replied with,
bleep you.
Yes.
It was more, though, because it was the...
Matt goes, that's my guy.
You and I talked about Scheffler, on Wednesday leading into that tournament, and the odds, and it's a 156-man field, and I thought the odds were a little too short to really go bet Scheffler. However, when I went to go make first-round leader bets, your brain, obviously the math makes sense on the odds, but your brain, when it sees all of a sudden 12-1 on Scotty Scheffler, you're like, well, that's a far more attractive price. So I really had that response because I got very close to pulling the trigger on it as well, but of course I stayed away and Matt bet it.
We get tweets at Beating the Book. Donnie Miller, excited to see the Padres up to 25-1. Most May wins, and you'll be happy to know at DraftKings they've lowered their max bet for me from $4.46 to $2.55.
You were taking too much off them.
I'm waiting for them to somehow blame this on tariffs. Oh, that's coming. Jason H11. So Drew is dressing up to look like Jason Worth and get into owners' areas. Got it.
Oh, yeah.
Jason Worth, horse owner. That's exactly what Drew was doing. Let me look like Jason Worth.
I didn't really think they probably do look a little bit like
Drew. Goes down to the paddock 6 a.m. Here is with his own ears.
That was awesome.
That American Promises ago. By the way, Chris Heath goes, I've spent hours scrolling for this American Princess horse. I didn't say princess. I said paradise. Come on, Chris. We love Chris.
Yeah, you have said like 6 different horses.
American
Treasure, American blah, 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 American Princess, American,
Oh, man.
American Honor.
Listen, all these shows don't have to win a Pulitzer, Kelly. Only 3 a week do. All right, last 2 Are We Sures before we get to Jason?
All right. Are we sure? We should have no concerns betting Iga Swiatek to win the French Open.
Oh, sadly, we're not sure about that. We are not sure that we should have no concerns. It's an interesting... again, something's going on. Now, if you go to those Iga chats, where they are much more maniacal than I am, right? It's her grandfather died... something's going on with a relationship off court that's having an impact. Whatever it is, there is a mental tweaking that has happened here that has now gone on for a period of time into clay where you have to... Well, I don't know what the equivalent is for this in any other sport, but this is like a young Rafa on clay having won 4 of these already she has. This is like going into a Rafa clay tournament when he's a kid in his early 20s and being like, I don't know if Rafa can win this. The counter to that is it's not like she's getting knocked out early. She's getting to the quarters or semis in every single tournament she plays. So that kind of counters the mental thing. Well, but you're good enough to get that far.
Right.
So I don't know. But you cannot, to answer your question, you cannot be sure at this point, even though I have bets on her at plus 117, plus 116, and plus 115.
Okay, so the last one's a baseball one, so this will be nice leading into Jason. We heard from Will Hill, his opinion on this the other day. I followed suit and once again have bet against this player. Are we sure Aaron Judge should be a minus 650 favorite to win the AL MVP on, let me check my calendar, May 2nd?
Well, you just said it. No, it's May 2nd. I don't wish this on him. But injuries happen.
Yeah,
right? By the way, even if it's not a debilitating one and he misses 30 games, right? Whatever it is, that could have an impact on minus 650. Are you kidding me? He may win it, don't get me wrong, but that's out of control. By the way, Bobby Witt Jr., 8-1. Everybody else, 35-1 or longer.
I think the bet, though, was what Will made, right? It's give me the field. Because who's next on that list? The problem is I don't know who I'm picking on the list.
The field bet, what Kelly's referring to, Will brought this up. We'll bring in Jason. Jason Weingarten joins us from under a cloud of smoke in Southern California, courtesy of the Progressive Guest Line at Spreadopedia. Will's, I think at DraftKings, it's the field versus Judge, and the field was what? Minus 400?
Plus 425.
Plus 425, the field. Oh, that's what you play. Jason, this is ridiculous, right? Minus 650.
Little bit. I mean, like Kelly said, it's May 2nd. The season's barely underway, and we're already crowning him the MVP. It's a little like the narratives have gone off the rails, not just in baseball, but in everything lately. Aaron Judge is the MVP. There's a story every day on the front page of ESPN about Shedeur Sanders' 5th-round draft pick. I mean, narratives have just taken over. Paul Skeens is the NL Cy Young favorite. He's gone 1-6 to the under on his strikeout prop so far this season. I mean, it's just narrative. That's all I hear around me these days. It's, narrative.
I think just to add on that, I think with some of the NBA awards results we saw this year, it was a lot of that late season narratives that ended up swaying a lot of votes.
Dyson Daniels ended up winning Most Improved, huh?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
The awards. I mean, we've seen it with so much stuff lately. It's just become, it's sometimes it's hard to talk about some of the stuff because all people want to talk about is narrative.
Well, give me a Kentucky Derby narrative, Jason. Who's winning the Derby? Did you bet it on a horse? I know you did.
I can't name a single horse in the Derby this year. I have year over year, I cut my horse betting down. I've told this story before, but years ago, I used to bet a lot of money on horse racing while I was betting on baseball, and I never really made a ton of money doing it. In fact, I was punting back baseball profits daily, and it occurred to me one day that if I stopped betting horse racing, I could literally do anything I wanted with that money. I could eat at the nicest restaurants in LA. I can go buy myself anything I wanted whenever I wanted.
All I had those $1,500 shoes you used to talk about.
Right, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I could buy a pair of shoes whenever I want if I don't bet horses. So I have essentially retired from horse racing these days.
Don't feel bad. Apparently I can't name the horses either.
Yeah. Jason, if you get asked this question by anybody else, just say American and then any other word you want after that, because that's what Gil's done the past couple days. Isn't it amazing, though? You bring up the betting leaks all the time.
This is the Jason, I was just about to say this. You are in my head.
He just perfectly described.
This is the ultimate leak.
It is, but he just perfectly described. I don't care what sport we're talking about.
Right.
The revelation that you have just personally, where it's like, oh my God, I cut this out. I stopped betting this.
Yeah.
And 2 months later, realizing how great of a decision that was. Jason perfectly described it.
I mean, would you rather bet on horse racing, which is an incredibly corrupt sport, both actually and morally and everything, or would you rather eat at the best sushi restaurants in LA whenever you want? I don't know. It was a hard choice, but I went with sushi.
He went with sushi.
Yeah, but for years before that, you thought, I can beat this.
Okay. I can beat it. Falika's coming on. He's got some horse racing bets to make, so let's table this.
At Tampa Downs, I'd be like, sure, I could bet this. And, $700 later, I was like, what am I doing with my life?
All right. To baseball, what did you play today?
Yeah, I got a couple baseball plays. I laid 177 with Tariq Skubal today. I don't know if you noticed this. I tweeted it last night. The Angels are all of a sudden on pace for something like 97 losses again. It's just another lost season in Anaheim. It's starting to look like 97 losses, man.
Well, maybe they should consider a left-handed bat every once in a while.
Yeah. There's a lot of things they should consider doing differently in Anaheim. Got to start somewhere, but it's not looking like it's going to be another good season for the Angels. So I got the Tigers there. I actually bet the Tampa Bay Rays plus 215 against the Yankees. I think I've lost my last 2 or 3 Rays bets in a row, but I took them 215 versus Max Fried and the Yankees today. And then I see this line just started moving while I'm talking about it right here. But Baltimore Orioles minus 130. I see it moving to about 133 right now. That was my third bet.
We haven't talked enough about this, but the whole Orioles thing, Rufus and I had this conversation. We both grew up Orioles fans. He's all about, like what I used to say, like, make a move at the trade deadline. The object is to win a World Series. And Rufus is always like, no, I like having them in contention and not selling the farm. And now look at this team. Like, that's why you make a move to try to win a World Series. Drives me crazy about this franchise.
Always got to try to win. I tell people this all the time, that there's no next season. Everyone building for the future thinks that everything's going to be ready next season. You got to win now. Now's all you got.
Yeah, and now just having a horrible start to the 2025 season. Jason, appreciate it very much, man. You have to let me know if you end up betting a horse tomorrow, though, because I'm curious if you succumb to the temptation.
Someone will probably text me they got to play, and I'll have to bet something.
That's how it usually happens. Yep. Thank you, Jason.
That's how it goes. That's the life we choose.
The life we choose. Appreciate it, man. Jason Weigard, everybody. Falika, Fezzik, both of them next. Numbers Game, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
And we're out.
Okay, give me 1 sec. I need to load funds into my gaming apps.
Stormy,